What's up, everybody? This is Ruben here for another video. Everyday videos, Facebook, YouTube. Check them out. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, it's out the way, okay? So this is what I want to talk about today, right? This is the subject for today. I want to talk about LeBron James, right? And so what I want to talk about is I want to take this from a different angle. Obviously, it's a very tragic situation. Let's get that out of the way. It's very sad for everybody. He died in a helicopter accident. You know, there was other people involved. And one of the things that struck me about this whole situation, right, that how much people cared about him, right, how much he was admired and loved. It was very surprising that basically, you know, I was in the city, you know, I live in LA, right, outside the skirts of LA, but basically it was so interesting how I've never seen this happen, where basically the whole city shut down. It was, I don't know how it was for the rest of the country and everything else. I can't speak on that. And I'm sure that there were similarities to the way people reacted to it. But the city of Los Angeles, where Kobe Bryant was basically synonymous, where Kobe Bryant was a staple, he was in everybody's mind. This whole idea of Mamba mentality. When he retired, he's remained connected and got entrenched with the entertainment industry, which is giant in LA. And so it was very interesting how the media started covering this right away, right? And so one of the things that kind of took me back, and I even had apprehensions about making this video, right, because I didn't want to seem like a hypocrite doing the same exact thing, right? But this is kind of my casual observation from a fan's perspective who wasn't necessarily into this idea of every single media outlet had snippets of every single kind, and they must have sold millions of dollars of advertisement, right? And I get it that these news organizations, this was such a salacious, this was such a crazy story that resonated around the world. There was really no negativity surrounded behind it. I mean, the guy took helicopters so he can take his kids and pick them up from school. That's why he started doing all that, right? So there's an altruistic motive behind taking the helicopter. It's not just some pompous rich person that says, I have the money to take a helicopter every single day and I'm going to do that. So that was kind of the observation that I had about that it was very disingenuous for people to have any kind of negative feedback as to what happened. Now, one of the things too that I looked at is this idea that the media was pushing in everybody's face. Anybody that was an NBA basketball player that had any kind of weird connection to Kobe Bryant, heck, it could have been anybody that they put in the front, they were just pushing these questions about Kobe Bryant. That's all they did. They probed these guys for questions. They probed these guys for, you know, what was your observation? What did you do, right? And so it got to the point where all these basketball players, when you look at their eyes, when you looked at the interviews, right? Because you would see them and you knew what they were going to say, right? You knew it was going to be the standard thing. He was a great guy. He was a friend. He was a friend to me. And everybody had this weird, unique interaction with Kobe Bryant because he was so good, right? And he had this quote unquote Mamba mentality, and it was a universally accepted thought process to have to become quote unquote great, right? So, which in fact it is a great mentality to have, but that's not his Mamba mentality is not a unique concept in the history of time, right? This guy, he enlisted this mentality that a lot of people have had, right? You could go down the name of any athlete, any person that was been, you know, you can relate this to soldiers that refused to die, refused to give up, that saved tons of lives. There's a bazillion parallels to this quote unquote Mamba mentality, right? And so when you have that, everybody was being pushed and bombarded with, what did you think about Kobe Bryant? What was your interaction? What did you do? Magic Johnson, all these other people were asked about this, right? It was almost to the point where it became disingenuous to the legacy of Kobe Bryant, right? A lot of those interactions, a lot of those private scenarios should have never been shared. But because in this day and age of saturation of media, information, and content, because we have so many ways to obtain this content, the news medias, all they did was they wanted these sellable, advertisable sound bites. They were not interested in the actual stories, okay? They weren't interested in actually remembering Kobe Bryant in that way. Those salacious interactions that that privately happened between Kobe Bryant and these people were now being sold on the free market to advertisers. And they were being gobbled up in droves, right? Everybody kind of followed suit. When Kobe Bryant first passed away or got killed in the helicopter accident, Instagram, everybody was posting things about Instagram. I thought it was fake at the beginning, but then obviously once ESPN put it on their front page, then it's safe to say that, you know, the Disney Corporation, which owns ESPN, is not going to put that kind of statement out there without confirmation. So that was my confirmation, right? And so you hoped it was a hoax, you wished it was a hoax, but then when it was confirmed true, it's very sad, right? It's a very sad day. Now, to a certain extent, I think the media did a disservice with not allowing all of Kobe Bryant's friends and family to mourn, right? Everybody needed this response by LeBron James. Everybody needed this response by Magic Johnson. Everybody needed this response by all these people. What did you think? What did you say? What did you this? And I think that was a contrived idea that was perpetuated by the media in general, so that way they can sell all these advertisements, right? There were so many ads being sold, and I get it that the nature of news is that you have to bump ads against it so that way you can sell it, right? You got to pay the bills, right? But at a certain point, there's nobody, the saturation, the determination of saturation for a story like this was way out the door. 1 or 2 days, it went on for over a week, and I don't know, it felt so contrived by, you know, TNT. They do many times, and they had, you know, Shaq on there, right? Shaq was a big deal, right? He was on big time TV. You know, his reaction, the fact that he cried, was publicized everywhere, and there was ads bumped against it, and it was like a big deal, right? The closer you were to Kobe Bryant, the more ad dollars your reaction could garner, right? And it was a fact, right? If you knew Kobe Bryant intimately, if he was your best friend, you know, Carmelo Anthony is having a hard time. He's one of, I guess, Kobe Bryant's best. I don't know if that's even 100% true, but he's publicly stated he's having a difficult time with it. And that right there in itself is what's selling a lot of dollars, right? It's selling a lot of advertisement rather. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. This character that is Kobe Bryant, this personality that is Kobe Bryant, who affected so many people, it was interesting to see how the media latched onto this at such a hard and tight level that people kind of lost focus as to what really happened to this guy, right? His life was abruptly ended, him and all the other people. But I think we lose focus of like what really happened there, right? Like, we created a spectacle based off of our curiosity as to who this guy really was. He was, of course, larger than life because he had 5 championships. He came to LA as a graduate at high school, and he was an anomaly of sorts because he's very successful, right? He's kind of a unicorn in sports because most giant athletes like that, most uber successful athletes like that, they don't transition well into their next life, which is their second life, right? So I thought it was very interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the way that they treated it. That's why I waited a week to make this video, because I wanted everything to cool off. And, you know, if your observation of the thing was different, then say so in the comments. But I was really kind of taken back by this idea that let's make Kobe Bryant's death of him and his daughter and those other people a circus, right? Let the man be, let his family grieve. That's such a tremendous loss to his 3 daughters and his wife and the people all in his circle. I mean, that is crazy to think that you're going to be pushing up against them to give you reactions. And they hounded all these NBA players. When you look on NBA.com, or you look on, you know, if you scour the internet and you look at YouTube, there were so many fake reactions. There were so many reactions that were forced, right? A good example is this. A good example is Draymond Green from the Golden State Warriors, right? He was asked about Kobe Bryant, and he had interaction with Kobe Bryant, right? And so, but just looking at the way that he's responding to these questions, is a good example of how he's like, okay, already enough. You asked me the same thing a bunch of times in 15 different ways, and you're trying to get a reaction out of me to cry. You want to get a reaction out of me so that I can sell this reaction video for way more money than anything else, right? And so obviously Draymond Green is one of the better players in the NBA, and he has a lot of pull. He's a very boisterous person. So his reaction, you can see him struggling to put this in context. And when you look at the way he's talking, his body language, his eye contact, he was really fighting this idea that why you keep asking me the same thing. And I think he even mentioned in it that I don't want to talk about this anymore. They continued. They hounded him. They beat him down with it. And he said, well, you're an entertainer. You should be able to respond that way. Absolutely not, dude. Everybody's reaction was not necessary. We knew this was a debilitating situation for the Lakers organization. That's why they didn't even play a basketball game. That was another thing, too, that was interesting about this whole situation is they canceled a game. I get it, right? The Laker organization is very family-oriented. They're really close to their players. They're one of the few organizations that treats their players truly like family. So for this to happen in that organization, I see how they're going to reschedule that Lakers-Clippers game, and rightfully so. But anyways, I thought this is just a casual fan's observation. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. It was really crazy what happened to you and your daughter and all these other people. You know, it's very tragic what happened. You know, you just hope that his wife and 3 other kids can move on and move forward and be able to have productive and healthy lives. Obviously, it's very destructive as, you know, in terms of how their family, you know, is put together now. But if anybody can push through it, obviously, you know, Miss Mamba could do that, right? So anyways, if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you guys think. Yeah, you know, this is just my observation of what happened with Kobe Bryant and how the media treated it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.